where people of the Hebraic faith have called for national days of repentance. Y'all give us that national day, that day where everybody better get together. You better get yourself together and do it. And it is such a solemn occasion. That's why he granted it unto us in that manner. But I will say that we can fast intermittently as Abba Yah grants us the authority, power, and permission to do so. We as Yahweh's people are going to really have to learn to do that. So by learning to do that, we got to get up and fight like we ought to obey Yahweh. So we got to know how. There are many instances inside of the last 2 weeks where I'm learning of more COVID attacks among the sacred name users of Abba Yahweh. And we're going to have to band together as well as be prayerful for one another. Keep each other in mind and in prayer that we be counted worthy to escape and or to be able to stand in the midst of these things. Though we know we didn't come here to stay always, that we are going to die, but that like a kernel of seed of any type that has to be planted in the earth, it must die before it can germinate and reproduce whatever food it will bring forth in the earth in the power and at the command of Almighty Yahweh. Then like that kernel that must die, our old man must die so that we can incorporate Yahweh in all things that we do, because he's in all things anyway. Therefore, this is not religion. This is why you can calm down. You can be in your neighborhood and know everybody in the neighborhood and yet not be the life of the party, not be a narcissistic personality where you need to be seen and need to be known, need to be right, need to be the best, the biggest, number one, the baddest. You can be known because you serve Yahweh and or live differently, because it overwhelms our life in such a way that it flattens out all things. It smooths out the way so that even in the midst of our trials and tribulations, we come to know that many are the trials of the righteous, but Yahweh brings us out of them all. We come to understand that through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. We're at a time now where the wicked suppose themselves to be so right that they seek to surpass righteousness with their wickedness, and yet they cannot function in any capacity of truth. So Yahweh's people have to know who they are, know whose they are, and be able and willing to just simply obey. It's not about the style or the technique of your shalom or shalom and all those. It's not in that. It's in the simplicity of really having a heart and mind where you just want to obey Yahweh. It's like being able to skate. It's like being able to ride a bike. One thing about it now, once you do it, once you got it for a while, you know it, then you don't tend to lose it. Now, you might get back on a pair of skates. I don't advise this if you're 50, 60 years of age, but don't try to do it unless you can. But hey, you might get back on a pair of skates after not been on them for 20 or 30 years. You're going to be a little shaky, a little rickety, a little raggedy. But eventually, it's going to come back to you and you'll feel a little more comfortable. So in keeping the word of Yahweh, I see where a lot of us as Hebrews, we're really uncomfortable with the word of Yahweh because we really don't know how to apply his word in our lives. I watch men argue and fight today over a couple $100 worth of copper. And if you know anything about society now, people are junking and scrapping, so the least little thing is worth something to people. But yet you see this stuff laying all over the place. You see people shopping carts, collecting tin cans, and in this society, the businesses that now specialize even in recycling things like that, they lower and or reduce the price of it so much so that the poor little people that can gather up pounds of it, hundreds of pounds sometimes, they still don't hardly get anything. But yet that lowering of the price when you go to sell it to them doesn't lower the price of the car when you go out to buy a brand new car. Or go buy anything with any metals in it, a rifle or a hammer. It doesn't lower the price then. So we see that the wicked have control of this earth. Thereby, we have to have control of these vessels that Abba Yahweh has loaned unto us. Now pause right there. These vessels that Yahweh has loaned unto us. Now check this out. If he loaned it to you, that means it's his. You ought to now take the bonus point of it being his and just do right with it while you have it. And he will reward you even more with the gift of everlasting life. Now I hope that makes sense. It's already his. Just don't go mess it up. That's how you can keep the Torah of Yahweh, have commands, and just trust him. I want you all to hear this prayer for help. See, it's good to have older people and old people. I like King David's statement. He said, I once was young and now I'm old. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. That comes with experience. Here's an old man that was once young and saw it in his youth and realized that Abba Yahweh loves and is with his people. So today, people are young in the faith. They're new to the way of life, and cocky is all outdoors. Know all that there is to know about Yahweh. And it's a damn lie. People get married and you're learning one another for years sometimes. And I didn't know you were like that. I didn't know this, that, or did you really pay attention? Some people can mask a thing. Some people can hide a thing. But Yahweh is so beautiful in his relationship with us. He opens himself up unto Yisrael. He shows us the pattern of his works, of his behavior. Nobody can use him. They cannot misuse him. They cannot duck him and dodge him. And he's ever open to Yisrael. And he tells Yisrael, I am Yahweh and I change not. Therefore, we got to come to know him. If he can part the sea of reeds for us as a nation, he can part anything for us at any given time if we all just come to him. That's what we as Yahweh's people are going to have to come to understand. I ain't got time to fight with people who are just trying to get to the forefront to be seen for sake of wanting to be seen. But I give you my word, I will fight you because, see, I know good and well when Yahweh ain't using you, which means you'll be doing a great deal of damage to people. And after a while, we got to get up off of some of the foolishness that we think we know as a people and really just seek Yahweh. How many people really seek Yahweh? Because it's like a cat. You can go, psst. A cat will stop for a minute and look at you, and they might take 2 steps towards you. But when a cat minds, you know what, hey, I'm going to go hit my litter box. Man, get out of my face. And the cat will go on about his business. Now, cat ain't like a dog. You keep on, cat keep on coming back to you. After a while, cat won't move. They have a very sophisticated mannerism or a level of behavior that you just don't shuck and jive with any kind of way. And I'm not comparing Yahweh to a cat, but I'm telling you, you're not going to just come to Yahweh, then you're going to misuse Yahweh, sin and do what you want to do, and then all of a sudden you, Yahweh, I need you. We're going to have to obey. He made the rules. King David says here in the psalm, and this is so beautiful, unto thee will I cry, O Yahweh, my rock, be not silent to me, lest if you be silent to me, I become like them that go down into the pit. Now, there's some people that are going straight to the pit. Yahweh's not regarding that. He let them go. There are people you're going to encounter daily that are none of his. They're going down to the pit, but yet they breathe his air every day. They're on his earth every day. They're in his planet every day. They eat his food that comes up out of his earth. That they are blessed. But come on now. You say something to them, they can be the most foul, most vicious, lying, adulterous, whatever type of person there is, and they'll say they're blessed and highly favored. Well, if you can live like that and be highly favored, what are the children of the devil? Who is it that don't nobody want to really get caught bragging about the devil having highly favored them? He highly favored Kennedy. Let's keep that in mind too. Anyway. Hear the voice of my supplications when I cry unto you, when I lift up my hands toward thy holy oracle. Now, Yahweh's holy oracle or Kodesh oracle, we got to honor that. We got to know now. Draw me not away with the wicked. See how it works? The wicked are drawn to something else, and they are drawn away from Yahweh. The old man in the Ancient of Days writing this for us knew and understood we want to be with Yahweh and have Yahweh in all things with us. He says, so don't let me be drawn away with the wicked, with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their heart. That's the worst thing in the world. You stand there talking to somebody, they talking all cool and passive to you or what have you. They talking mischief all along because that's what's in their heart, though they're speaking peace. I'm going to the right, knowing full well you intend to go left. You trying to throw. See, unless we as the messengers of Yahweh really got that kind of power and can discern and pick a spirit up, that ain't something where you always get a chance or an opportunity to just sit down and accuse people. I discerned your spirit. I know you're lying. Because all it's going to do is make the liar lie now to cover it up. Discernment, as one of the gifts of Almighty Yah, is just given unto you to forewarn you, to help you sidestep an issue or a danger or a lie that may impact you. Those are the types of things that Abba Yah does to strengthen and encourage Israel to demonstrate that he is with us. But sometimes for Israel, you got to come back and keep encouraging some of us every week. The same old thing. Got to keep speaking tenderly and speak peace to you. Sometimes the word of Yah comes in a rebuke because we keep moving too slow. Yahshua even rebuked the apostles because there was something that they were slow in catching and they should have caught it. Otherwise, he would not have rebuked them. You can't say he was wrong for what he said. But when teaching them and they still didn't get it, he says, are you yet without understanding? Meaning that, how long shall I be with you? He grew angry with them, not impatient, but angry with them because they should have caught a thing. Yahweh's either with you or he ain't. Yahweh ain't with you on the Shabbat, then Sunday morning now you down in the spirit and you just don't know. You got to hold on to Yahweh's unchanging hand. And you got to stop having a double mind. Scripture says double mind. Some proper translation renders it two-faced. And it says that a two-faced man is unstable in all his ways. That's somebody that's standing in your face, say one thing to you, over there with somebody else, they say something else. Then when you both there present, now they're going to play the middle. Yah says that they are unstable in all their ways because that's a dual spirit. Listen, in the 70s, my father was a victim of the U.S. COINTELPRO operations. They harassed him on the phone, targeted his home, and some other things that I could tell you all about. And so I pay attention to the military and intelligence community and police and things like that. I watch them because I know how they work. And I have been saying to the people of Israel for the last 5 to 7 years, I kept saying they're bringing the troops home. They're going to turn them troops on you. There are things that they have to do now. With the collapse of the society and all that's taking place, I entered into the record last Shabbat how they are admitting now, look, we built our New World Order, just a few more pieces of the puzzle to put in place, but we're not taking America with us in the New World Order. We're going to collapse her. She built it and gave the rules, gave the ideals, gave the values. So now all the countries around the world desire American capitalism or crony capitalism. They can even mix capitalism in with their communism, mix it in with their atheism, mix it in with their socialism. America gave them the blueprint, but she's no longer needed because the one thing they can't get rid of is the ideals of everybody now chasing what's called the American dream. They're busting everything down now. They're bringing everybody down to the same level. Anytime Donald Trump with $7 billion and Oprah Winfrey with $3 billion are considered the poor among the world's wealthy elite, something funny going on. They ain't even got enough money. They can't buy their way into the Fortune 400 list. So if they're that poor, how many others are like them with 10 billion or less that really ain't even counted as anybody? Bezos and others sitting up with 150, 200 billion and going on. Others fighting to be the first trillionaire. Things of this nature. We got to be watching what's taking place because we as a people are not learning how to incorporate Yahweh into every aspect of our lives so that we won't be bothered by them. Though they control the planet, though they got their partnerships and their teamships going on, we should not sweat the evildoers. In fact, scripture says, fret not thyself because of evildoers. Now I said sweat, meaning don't sweat the small stuff. But the scripture says, fret not, meaning don't even trouble yourself about them. Don't fret because of evildoers. Leave them alone. Come out of them. Put your mind on Yahweh. And if there is anything that I can say that will help us, it's sometime when some of us do fall ill with things or get diagnoses of things that are not good, it will make us pray. So if these types of things make us pray, then we also in our prayer just get real with Yahweh. Get real with him. Don't get hypocritical. Get real with him. If he didn't call you to preach, then don't preach. If he didn't give you the gift of instrument or singing, then don't play instrument, don't sing. Praise him and obey him. Do the thing that he gave you. You will be surprised the gift that Abba Yahweh gave you. Maybe not for standing on the world stage, but a gift he gave you that may only be understood by those of your household. Then those are the souls that you were commanded to impact. Everybody thinking that everybody got to go preach and teach. I know the scripture says that Israel is a nation of kings and priests, but that don't mean everybody rising up everywhere going preaching and teaching. That is not what that means. It means that all the world's kings and priests, when this thing is fully established, shall come out of your nation. That don't mean everybody in the nation is a king and a priest. We need to stop that, okay? Sometimes the people of the land just happened to make it into the kingdom, like King Dawid were there, and they didn't even desire seats and wealth and all this stuff. Many of Yahweh's people, we read about in scripture, were only famous in Yahweh's eyes, and the things they did in lifetime were written and or recorded in the book. Today, we're so egotistical because we got so many mind-altering, egotistical tools, the way to get Yahweh's word across to everybody. Some of us going to have to live this thing by example. And you don't get a greater example of people living it by example than the daughters of Yah. Because you ain't getting as strong of a nation as you think you would get without the daughters of Yah producing them strong babies, because mama got to know the word of Yahweh and know how to live it as well to instruct her babies. It ain't just all on mom, dad, it's on you too. See, fathers, they think they just have sex and spit some babies out. That's why our brothers are so prioritized, so highly prioritized on the vagina. That's their number one goal right now. Just collect as many vaginas as they can. I don't know no other way to say it to you, so I'm putting it out there like it should be. They're collecting, but they won't collect the paycheck. I would go out and pick up 10 cans myself and meddle in other things before I get out here and do any of the filthy things that the world commands that we do just so we make it hustle and look good. We have to learn that we are in a continuous struggle for the salvation of our soul. And most of the time, people don't want no hard work, even if it comes to keeping the Torah of Yahweh. People don't want no hard work. We want all the good stuff. We want all the blessings. But when them trials and them tribulations clamp down on our head, for some reason or another, that's when we all faint. And we're guilty of having not read the book, because scripture does say things unto us like, if you faint in the day of adversity, it is because thy strength is weak. And we don't understand that. This is why people won't go to the assemblies or go to the sanctuaries today. Y'all, we got them now, little people. You ever notice how brothers, they don't have the sense to get properly prepared in Yahweh, to establish an assembly anywhere that the people might come unto them. So now everybody want their homes. I'm going to tell you all something. Everybody ain't blessed to obey Yahweh and hold service or keep service in their home. Because I'm going to tell you something about keeping service in your home now. We need to know this. Now listen to what I'm about to say. I am not knocking holding service in your home. I'm not knocking it. But I am saying, Yahweh warned Israel about building their house and their threshold so close up to his house and his threshold, because you got some stuff you're going to do in your household now that you can't do in the sanctuary of Almighty Yahweh. And therefore, Abba Yahweh gave Israel sanctuaries wherever we were scattered. We had the temple of Jerusalem. Everybody knew you drop what you do, you go there. Don't matter how crowded it is. Yahweh make a way that their word would spread. But today, brothers want to draw people away and keep them in their homes and locked away and all this. They don't know now. You should get something together somewhere and pray that y'all raise up messages, or you seek out messages. The apostles traveled to help set up assemblies and get people established. They anointed and laid hands on people that the Ruach HaKodesh will come upon them. Today, men don't wait on the Ruach. They take it upon themselves. But they forget they have sex in their homes. They defile them little homes. They bring and cook things in there. They don't teach properly in them homes. They don't fully honor Yahweh in them homes. Sometimes them homes have things in them that are unclean to Yahweh, but yet they'll take that Shabbat and make that the sanctuary. Now, you better go back and look at the law real careful and pay attention to what Yah said to Israel. That's why he asked us, how can they hear without a preacher? And how can they preach except they be sent? When you find a man of Yahweh and you know this man is truly sent, you pray for that man that he forever stay in the counsel of Almighty Yahweh, so that he don't mislead you or misguide you and misdirect you. Because Yahshua said many false prophets have gone out into the world. And I have learned that that's why the faith in Israel is so shaky to this day. We're in the last days now, and we don't see what's coming. Here's what Yahweh said to us in concerning the promise of Israel's restoration. Let's get this straight. Ezekiel, now you all can hold your point right here in Psalm 28. I'm going to come back to this. But Ezekiel 11:14, I want you to listen to this. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel holy are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from Yahweh. Unto us is this land given in possession. You see what they said? Get far from Yahweh. And they draw people away from Yahweh with this. They say the land's given to us now. Therefore say, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Notice he said just a little sanctuary, little bitty place. It ain't big cathedrals and all. There ain't no places now somebody stealing money, hiding $600,000 in the bathroom wall and all. I'll come back later. I'll get this. I'll do this. I'll do that. Come on now. He said little sanctuary where Israel should gather, where they're able to gather. Now in this era, Yahweh has blessed us. He's done something so sophisticated where you can even go online like we're all doing right now and sit with somebody and study. It is the equivalent of being a member there. You help them support the place, help them hold the place up, help them keep the lights on, keep the stuff going that you're feeding and getting for free. A lot of times people will pull off of the name of Yahweh. They'll pull off the messages of Yahweh and won't lift a finger to help them further present or push the word. Everybody in Yahweh's name ain't going to do like the world now and just preaching and gathering up big lump sums of money to drive new and fancy cars. Because some of us understand we better be real with Yahweh, because if Yahweh called us and chose us, our souls are at stake and our hands are in danger of having blood on them if we ever stray from the pathway of truth. That's why when I talk to you all, I'm straightforward with the word. I strive to be kind and gentle and get the truth across. But sometimes, you all know me now, I'll give you a little nudge. I'll give you a little rebuke. I'll give you a rebuke of encouragement or a chastisement of encouragement to help you get up now. You know him now or are known of him. Therefore, you cannot keep wallowing in sin. So Yahweh said he will be to us a little sanctuary in all the countries where we should come. Are we not here in America? Are we not scattered? Should we not? I remember assembling a meeting with the Assemblies of Yahweh years ago, and I jotted down the ideas of something that Yahweh gave us. And truth be told, I've been following the pattern of what Yahweh gave us, how to get the word across, not just in my area, but around the world. I received a call yesterday. I'm going to meet with the brothers because I really do want to stress this. But I want to stress to Yahweh's people, I don't do community activism anymore. The era of activism is over. The era of the lecture and getting the buildings together and hosting town hall meetings and talking to people, the era of that is over. And they've done it so sophisticatedly, they don't even want you to gather. That's why they keep on mask mandate, vaccine mandate, shot mandates, all this stuff. Keep you away from one another. Everybody's suspicious of who got what. Well, were you ever suspicious of that person that's sitting in the cubicle next to you, or the one down the hall, or the neighbor across the street? Were you ever suspicious of them when they had gonorrhea and you didn't know about it? Were you ever suspicious of them when they had a mild heart attack or stroke and you didn't know about it, but you were suspicious that I might catch a heart attack if I sit next to him? I heard he had a heart attack last week. So now they've sown the seeds of fear within us. And I think the biggest lie going is the fact that you keep shooting up the world. You keep inoculating everybody. And then whatever the damn thing is, it keep growing and it keep changing. But for a whole year it wasn't growing and it wasn't changing. It was just 19. Now it done turned 20. It done turned 21. It done turned 22. Now it's Omicron and bubble gone and all this other stuff now. But we ain't paying attention. So here they are blaming the people that are unvaxxed. Because it's a battle now. It's a division going on. Which is why Yahweh's people can be united in any city, in any state, in any country, wherever they are, by all following the command to speak the same thing and that there be no division between you. That's how the world will know that we are Yahweh's, because all those that are speaking the same thing among ourselves, we're going to have a fervent love. You're going to love one another in such a way where you'll fight to make sure that one another stand right. But hey, man, for right now, we are scattered and we ain't hardly paying the assemblies of Yahweh no mind. Interesting, if we're not paying the assemblies of Yahweh no mind, I got to go back and I'm using the Psalms again. Psalm 73. You can read the entire Psalm in its entirety and get the point that the author is making, but you must pay strict attention, especially to where the author said he got his knowledge from, which is recorded in verse 17. He is praying before Yahweh. He's declaring before Israel the fate of the wicked here in Psalm 73. He describes their fate and the things that are going to happen to them. He describes their patterns of behavior, their thought, their speech, their actions, the symbolism behind their momentum. He describes all that. Let me grab a verse real quick. 73:9, he says, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. They plotting to do all things. I was reading an article the other day. This has got to be the dumbest article I've ever read. Let me pause, because I know I've said that quite often, but the article just gets dumber and dumber. There's this article, dumb article I read, where the dumbest of the dumbest people run the planet are building a doomsday black box so that they can record the end of humanity. So before I even started reading the article, I said, well, damn, that's dumb. Because if you all know the end of humanity is coming, my only question is, who the hell gonna be around to view the tape? Now, this got to be damn dumb. Somebody, somewhere, let's go to the root. Somebody had a baby, they 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 had a baby, 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 went on down the line till they ended up here. And somebody paid for this child to go to school, get a good education, come out. And they didn't say, come here, boy, look at here. You're pretty smart. Well, I'm going to put you on a mission, and I want you to go away and think of something so stupid. In fact, I'll give you the stupid mission. You're going to go build a doomsday black box, because like the black box on the plane that records everything and is indestructible, we're going to set up something and film the destruction of humanity. But I thought everybody was going to be dead. So these people are just that damn dumb that in their mind, they thinking they kill off everything and they'll be around, sit back and watch the tape to see how everybody else got killed off. This is, come on, Israel. Without Yahweh, we have no knowledge. So here the psalmist says here, their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore, his people return hence, and waters of a full cup are wrung out of them. Yahweh's poor little people just always crying. They cry unto him. I was thinking on my mother today. My mother was a very sensitive person. Things would hurt her. I tell my mother loved. She loved deeply. But when things hurt her, it hurt. Trust me. When things hurt her, it hurt her. And I think, I don't mean, hey, don't try me. I don't mean in the sense of softness and weak. Now I'm old crybaby. But I think I get some of that from my mother. And that's why I said last week, I say again, knowing some of the things that are coming upon the face of this earth and the way we've transgressed against Yahweh and how Yahweh really truly loves us so much. Yes, it does hurt knowing what's coming on the face of the earth. And yet sometimes you have no way to really truly articulate it to people. I was reading something in bed a few weeks ago before I fell off to sleep, and I read something so deep, and I thought on some scriptures in Yahweh's word, and I rolled over and started talking to my Isha about that. And the look on her face was one of concern, where though I'm sleepy, I'm listening to you. What you saying? Lay it out. Break it down for me. But all I could break down to her was sometimes what Yahweh allowed me to see is so deep and it's so intense that I really don't have anybody to talk to about it, except her and my son and Deacon Reggie. I count Deacon and Minister as my sons, and outside of them in this poor little congregation here, you all the people of Yahweh, I really don't have nobody to talk to about it, because some days I'm working and I thought come to mind, I want to say something, and I look around, I realize I ain't got nobody that's even on the most elementary level of Yah's word to catch this, to break this stuff down to. And I couldn't even articulate it to her, but yet y'all give me space sometimes on Shabbat where I get up here and I teach it to you all, and then I talk to some of you all, or you get on the chat line and you'll comment or ask questions, whereas it's so deep to you all, I won't even go back and review it because it's in my head. It's in my soul. Yah has granted it unto me in such a way where I just try to impart it to his people as best I can, even if sometimes I'm worn down and got to take a break to recuperate, get myself together. But I'm telling you all, we're in the last days. And we as Yisrael, we have to get up off the elementary school level of understanding Yahweh. We got to get up off the glass and milk now. We got to get into the strong meat of Yahweh's word. And when I say the meat of Yahweh, I don't mean to offend any of y'all. If you all out there right now talking about your vegans and all this other stuff, y'all need to come up off of me. You need to stop. Okay, that vegan stuff and all that other stuff, that stuff is not of Yahweh. If you want to eat clean, you want to eat healthy, I completely understand it. But here's the main point you must understand about your diet. Whether it's man-made, whether it's made by the cows, the birds, or the bees, whether it's the Torah of Yahweh, whatever it is, you're going to eat and you're still going to die. So cut it out, okay? Serve Yahweh. The commandments of Yahweh are health unto thy neighbor, okay? So we got to understand, one of the biggest health food stores here in Baltimore, I won't even say their name because I ain't advertising for them. But anyway, health food store. Check them out now. Serve everything. Tofu, veganism, all this other stuff. Health food. They in the healthy, Afrocentric stuff. And the woman jumped on me on the radio years ago because I said some things about gay and lesbians, and she got offended because she got them working in a restaurant. I'm like, well, damn, doesn't that kill all of the health food and cleanliness and everything you say you stand for? Come on now. And they all over the place. And I'm glad to see somebody like Dave Chappelle stand up to him. You know, it should give all of you strength and courage to stand up and let people know, ain't nobody hating on you. We don't like your lifestyle because your lifestyle is not a style of life. It is a death. It is the destructive pathway. And that's really what you're trying to do to all the world. But at any rate, that's where we all are at. And that's how we live it. So that contributes to Yisrael still not being spiritually healthy in Yahweh. You got brothers. I've lived long enough in the commandments to say this and see this, and I can testify to this. I've seen people convert and come to this way of life, and the number one thing that they obsessed with, and they all the ones that I've seen obsessed with, they had big bellies. See, their bellies hung over the belt buckle. But they come in and they obsessed with eating. They got this dietary law. They got all this stuff. And over the years now, you can spot them spirits. I had this conversation with Deacon Reginald, and this is the truth. After a while or so long of serving Yahweh, I'm going to tell you something that you should see. Spirits. It's plain. It's clear. Spirits come to the house of Yahweh. It's the same old thing all the time. Let me tell you something about the assembly of Yahweh. My father said this many years ago. Service going on, a minister up, anybody preaching and teaching. Whenever somebody come and knock on the door of Yahweh's house, whoever they are, whenever somebody come and knock on the door, I'm telling you all my life, it has always been an evil person. No matter how subtle, no matter how pretentious, that knock on the door is the devil. You know how I know? Because the doors of Yahweh's house swing and walk on hinges for his people. The devil, he need permission to come in. He always got to get that permission. And that's why you got to be careful of certain things. Now, that don't mean the devil won't come pull the door and come on in. I ain't saying he won't, but I'm just saying certain spiritual conditions you got to watch. After a while, you'll know a person with a divisive spirit. You'll know a person with a lying spirit. You'll know a person with a gospel spirit. Because them evil spirits are working their work. They have a pattern of behavior and they cannot alter it. Therefore, you have to have the pattern of Yahweh and incorporate this into your life, and you cannot alter it. That is what gets the spirit of depression up off of us. That is what gets the sadness up off of us. That is what gets the confusion up off of us. And it draws us closer to Yahweh, and we're able to just simply calm down. I don't know about y'all. I'm waiting on the kingdom. I got a 5-year-old grandson said something to me a few weeks back that I thought was the sweetest thing he's ever said since he's been on the earth to me. One Tuesday, I'm sorry. He said, "You're not going to the temple?" He said, "You got to go to the temple because we got to get into the kingdom." 5 years old. I paused and looked at him. And before I left out this evening, that's what he was sitting down talking with me about. Talking with me about Yahweh and listening to Yahweh. That's how we have to do our children. You gently Teach your children of Yahweh and teach them in a way where they come to love Yahweh and not just being forced to sit in the house. You have to teach them so that they come to love Yahweh like they come to love their little toys or like they come to love to eat or whatever they do. You got to incorporate Yahweh in all things so that when they are old, they will not depart. That's how you all got what you got right now in the little messenger that you say you love. My father taught it, and he taught it so well. And the spirit of Yahweh was upon him in such ways with false prophets and messengers. They hated him. They despised him because they couldn't do some of the things that he did. And the best they could do was attempt to try to come close and try to emulate it. And they focused on foolish things like diet. Yahweh give you Israel the dietary law. Ain't a whole lot of studying to do with that. It's a certain way you eat. And Yahweh's beautiful in the law. All the stuff you can eat is clean stuff. He put it right there nearby you. We just don't think. You know why? Because we're religious. We're trying to practice religion and it don't work and it don't fit and we get frustrated with Yahweh. Listen to what the psalmist says here, 73. For this cause his people return hence and waters of a full cup are wrung out of them. And they say, how does Yahweh know? We can kill him, we can get rid of him. How does the Most High know? Is there any knowledge in the Most High? See, they think because Yahweh lets so much stuff that they do go, they think he ain't got no knowledge of it in this earth. Behold, these are the unrighteous who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Look at who's increasing in the world. Look at who's increasing in riches. You ain't got old dumbass Kevin Hart. Yeah, I said that. Run around talking about he gonna be a billionaire. What difference do it make all the money you get? After so long time, there ain't no whole lot you can really do with it anyway. Billionaires get so bored, they go around the world, they done travel, they do everything they do. They done so much stuff. Epstein bought an island. Had all kind of sexual behaviors and everything you think of going on. These people are so wealthy and so freaky that they think it's their duty to have sex with everything on the planet. So zoology, zoophilia, zootophilia, whatever you call it, messing with animals and stuff, that's their thing. They got a whole realm of specifications in that. This is the type of stuff going on. If they could get up there and have sex with the moon, they do it. Well, I just want you to film it. I'm going up here. They're just that lewd. They're just that wicked. Just that out of their mind. And in the 21st century, don't you be shocked, because there's a lot of us that still sit around and worship them people. We think them people truly are chosen by the Almighty Yahweh. And I'll say to some of you that come to Yahweh, when you awaken to Yahweh, you better shut your trap. You better be like them black folk that was riding on the bus, hoping that they didn't make them get up and get to the back. You come to Almighty Yahweh, you better shut your trap and just strive to obey. Because see, you ain't going to convince your people either. But it is your duty to tell them. You ever notice how they're hesitant to say who the chosen people are? One group of people run around saying they the chosen people, and the whole world know they ain't. They determine it's the invisible man. You don't see us. So what, we fooling the world? We are the chosen ones. So what? Those are the real people. We're the ones over here. They keep right on going. It's the invisible man syndrome. Everybody see it, it's exposed. He think he's invisible. Everybody stand right there looking at him. And that's how it's going right now. And that's why Israel can't get themselves together. We focused on everybody and everything but Yahweh and ourselves. You're going to have to forsake the world, Israel. You're going to have to forsake them. So these are they who prosper in the world and increase in riches. You see us now get a little bit of money above rent money. We talking about we blessed and highly favored. Oh, go ahead, man. The wicked have the same thing you got and more. Are they more favored than you? We don't understand how this goes. Isaiah walked naked and barefoot for the space of 3.5 years. Was he not highly favored and blessed? Yahweh was with him, but yet he was just chosen to go through that. And most of you all, you know good and damn well, you ain't going without 2 or 3 pair of tennis shoes. You know good and damn well, you ain't going without a sweatsuit or a tattoo or a necklace or the latest hairdo. Come on, y'all know it. You know how you get down. Truly, I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. Now you got to understand the emotional speech going on here. This person is saying, I've served Yahweh and did all that. I cleaned myself up, washed my hands to become completely innocent. He's speaking emotionally, now out of desperation. But I like what the Ruach HaKodesh does. It acts like a chain on a dog in the yard. Not comparing you to a dog, but a dog can't go but so far with that chain or with the electronic collar. He can't go beyond that perimeter because he gets shocked and snatched back. So here the man of Yah complaining. Then he says, for all day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say, I will speak like this. Behold, I should offend against the generation of your children. In other words, if you get caught complaining about Yahweh and thinking Yahweh done forsook you and all, somebody else that's driving might hear it and give up too. That's why he said he would offend the generation of your children. But he says, when I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. Some stuff, some knowledge is just too high for people. So they don't understand it. They can't articulate it. So then they start lying about it. And if they get a following together, now they want you to follow them for sure, even when they don't know what they're talking about. Well, just shut up and listen to me. Go along with me anyway. But the writer says, until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh, then understood I therein. Somebody somewhere has to be preaching the end time message. Somebody somewhere has to be preaching the kingdom message. Somebody got to be preaching Torah. Somebody got to be preaching the feast day to get all this stuff in order so that you can understand what the world is doing. It's on its own death march. They're sounding their own death knell. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou cast them down into destruction. So you see, children of Israel, they don't know. They don't realize how much Yahweh really loves them as the world begins to fold up and to crumble before their very eyes. And very few seem to see it. A friend of mine said to me many years ago, though he mocked a great deal of things that I have said to him, he mocked a lot of it until Yahweh slapped him down. And I don't think Yahweh's done with him yet, but he slapped him down. And he sees how these conditions are unfolding. And he said to me a few weeks ago, everything you were saying, everything you laid out from the 90s onward, you've been saying it, it's unfolding now. It's at rapid pace. And he said to me, I heard you, but what I didn't think was that I'd be living in it or living to see it. Didn't think that I'd be around. Yeah, well, I knew I'd be here for a little bit of it. I knew more than I could tell. But now that they look up and see it, our poor brothers can't even see Yahweh's word unfolding out of the headlines of today's papers. Speaking of today's papers. New York Times, Wednesday, December the 8th, 2021. Front page. You got to hear this. Front page article. Cash cushion for Americans starting to shrink. Yet more uncertainty for many families. Listen to this. Infusions of government cash that warded off an economic calamity have left millions of households with bigger bank balances than before the pandemic. Savings that have driven a torrent of consumer spending, help pay off debts, and at times reduce the urgency of job hunts. But many low-income Americans find their savings dwindling or even depleted. And for them, the economic recovery is looking less buoyant, meaning you ain't gonna be floating so much now. Over the past 18 months or so, experts have been closely tracking the multi-trillion-dollar increase in what economists call excess savings, generally defined as the amount by which people's cash reserves during the COVID-19 crisis exceeded what they would have normally saved. In other words, they saying, we gave you some stimuluses, we gave you other money, we shut the world down, you didn't have to pay rent and all this other stuff for months, we stopped stuff. Well, you should have saved it, and you had more than you were spending. That's what they're saying. But listen to this now. According to Moody's Analytics, an economic research firm, these excess savings among many working and middle-class households could be exhausted as soon as early next year. That meant people, poor families that didn't have no savings, that made it from paycheck to paycheck, might have had $4,000 or $5,000 saved or put to the side, and they felt like they had to come up or what have you. Well, what they're saying now is that they're easing back these restrictions. Ain't no more stimulus coming and some other stuff. We're trying to get you back to work and do some other things while holding back the resources and the things that should be on the store shelves or what have you. And they're saying now the cost of gas going up, heating oil going up, gas and electric homes and all this stuff going up. So it's going to hit people in their pocket. And they're saying as early as next year. So he says, not only does it reduce their financial cushion, but also potentially affecting the entire economy. Since consumer spending is such a large share of activity, additionally, many pandemic-era federal programs expired in September, including the federal supplement to unemployment benefits. In April 2020, after the pandemic's outset, the nation's personal savings rate, that is, the percentage of overall disposable income that goes into savings each month, jumped fourfold from its February 2020 level to 34%. Some of that spike in savings resulted from government checks of up to $1,200 sent to most Americans. Some simply stemmed from reduced spending by firmly held middle-class or affluent households during the lockdown. And the whole article is vicious. It goes on into describing how prices are getting ready to increase. You got to pay certain rents now, all this other stuff. They give me turn this pressure valves off now of themselves and put it back on you, the poor people. If we ain't got time to pray, we're going to start praying. So you see, we as Israel, and I understand us very well, you all can't call me or text or email and I not read that stuff and not pray over it. I kid you not, I pray. And I pray for discernment and understanding. You want to look at every letter. You want to listen to it. You read it out loud in your mind's eye. And you feel the spirit behind the person that put the thoughts to the pad or to the electronic device. And you can discern it. And y'all give you an ability to help them as best you can. But we're men just like you all. We go through the same thing you all are going through. But we as Israel, we don't want to suffer. We want to forget that we transgressed Yahweh. We just want to get it over with, and we want to get recognized. And that's why a lot of people are preaching and teaching today with no real experience, and no casting out devils record, no healing the sick record, no repentance record, no praying, no nothing. Just want to run and go and be talking. And they're going to mess a lot of you up. You're going to have to find shepherds of Yahweh. You're going to have to pray for shepherds of Yahweh. Get them to pray for you. And you serve Yahweh all the days of your life. You're going to have to get real, Israel, because the pressure is on us. America's going down, whether we want to admit it or not. Now, a lot of stuff I want to break down sometime to Yahweh people. I don't have to go into all of it. I'll make some other arrangements with some other things we're going to broadcast in the not too distant future. I'll get that stuff out there for you all. Some of it, we may have to go back and revisit 35-year-old information. I think my youngest child is about 33, 34, so I don't even know his age, but I know he was born the month and year that I got started in 1988 as an activist. And I'm going to tell you something that I learned from those moments onward. I always knew that those days would come where we would have to hold on to that type of information and go back over it. Minister, deacon, I have told you. You'll find that in preaching Yahweh's word, there will be days and times with some of what you present in Yahshua, you'll find that you're going to have to go back over it and over it and over it and over it. But people come and they're always looking for some new thing. Remember in the day of the apostle, they were looking for something new. They were having itching ears. But the stuff that people should hear, sound doctrine, they will not endure it. It's the sound doctrine of Yahweh that is going to take the savers. And for many of you that are on the channel, I do admit it. There's some things I taught 25 and 30 years ago by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. And I know I'm going to have to back up over it, and go back over it and dig it up. Though some of them people are dead now. They've done things. They put stuff in effect. They've created programs that unless you understand the mindset behind it, the point of origin, the how some of these things have come about, you won't understand the need, why, and how you'll have to navigate the mark of the beast as a system. And ain't nobody really breaking that down to us right now. People think they preaching the mark of the beast because everybody talking about Bitcoin and the new world order and the vaccine. Okay, it's a little more to it than what we're just talking from news reports. We got to get it from the perspective of Yahweh's Torah and what Yahweh says that it is. Meantime, I said we as Israel, we don't want to suffer, right? We just want to get it over with. Okay, let's go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2. I want you to hear something. Yeah, we want to get it over. The nations want to get the New World Order in place too. They don't tell you that they want to get it over with, as far as killing you off and going up against you. That's what it's coming down to. But we don't believe anything. Zephaniah 2, beginning at verse 8. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revilings of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. Now, these are the nations that have disrespected Yahweh. They've despised Yahweh's people. They've hated you. It could be the neighbor. It could be the co-worker. You don't know what spirit of Moab and Ammon is upon them. Sometimes they're the literal descendants of these nations. But they've hated you and don't even know why. Let's go a little further. You got to hear this. Therefore, as I live, says Yahweh of Sabaoth, the Elohim of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and the perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. Notice he said the remnant of his people. That means everybody that say they Yahweh's people ain't going to make it. He says the remnant, just a small number. Daniel describes it by saying the saints shall take the kingdom. So here he's letting you know just a few of us, just the residue. They shall have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of Yahweh of hosts. You hear him? Problem. Let's get it right. This shall they have, that Israel gonna possess them. You all got to come to serve Yahweh. The way you beat the Lord in us, we got to beat Yahweh in you. Some of you nations, you need to understand y'all going into captivity, man. Some of you are awakening now. You are the sons and daughters of the people that have scattered Yahweh's word, that have hidden his precious things, that have taken all the things of Yahweh and buried them, hidden them in your treasure houses. The Vatican and all others are describing and discussing now with the global Jewish community the stuff that they had when they sacked Jerusalem and all this other stuff. They kept this stuff. Somebody held Yahweh's stuff all that time. Now they ready to build the temple and everything else. And the Vatican saying, well, look, all right, check this out. We got a lot of that old ancient stuff that, man, we had this stuff under lock and key for years, waiting on the right leader to come up and lead us to salvation and all that we are after. We'll turn it all over to him. They don't know that that's in the book. So here Yahweh says, this shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of Yahweh. Yahweh will be terrible unto them. Pardon. For he will famish all their gods. You know how they do. All them gods that they got. And us too, African nations, China and all, yeah, the dragon, all this different stuff, yeah, the rat, yeah, the monkey, all this stuff. These things are God. This is stuff they worship, and it is not Yahweh. Yahweh say he will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods. If you false prophets and false leaders, and he gonna famish your gods, what you think he gonna do to you that serve them gods? He shall famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. Your very home should be a home of peace, home of prayer, home of happiness in Yahshua. Daughters of Yah, if you're single and you have no man, yes, you have Yahshua. You have Yahweh. You strive. Men, if you're widowers or you're single, you don't have a woman, you ain't got to rip and run the streets and be with every woman. So many men, I don't care your nationality, your skin color, so many men, the only thing they seem obsessed with is justifying all these sexual relations with women. We're pushing up on the end of time now. The end of time. Whew. You think Noah was the only one around preaching in his day? He must have been the only one right. I don't read of no 10 or 12 other preachers in the name of Yahweh. He saved that man. And that man that's coming for you and I said, that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the coming of the Son of Man. We don't look at what that really means. Times were tight. Noah was a praying man. Noah was a working man. He worked in Yahweh's word, and he preached Yahweh's word, and saved himself and his whole household by just his obedience unto Yahweh. Well, nobody can tell us. So he says, all men should worship him, everyone from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. Yahweh gonna bust you down. You're gonna bust these nations down. You all got to get with the program. We ain't got to get with you. We ain't got to take your vaccine and all this other stuff. We got to get with Yahweh. And right now, all we worrying about and all we crying about is Israel. Is how many wives can we have? How many women can we have? How many times we got to plan? I've never seen so many men in my lifetime just playing. As close as it is to the end times now, you can't even get married and hold a family together. But there's one point of life you all keep forgetting. And that point is, you got to stand before Yahweh. And you got to give an account for everything you've done. Why not just do it right? That way when you stand before the great I am, at least your conscience is clear. And your works will have followed you. Your works follow you because you have a recording angel. And they're going to read it off. And they're going to judge you out of the book of life. And if your name ain't written in it because you decided you were so sex obsessed, or you were so obsessed with money, you were so power struck, you were so all of that you couldn't allow Abba Yah to use you to things that he saw fit to use you to, you're in big trouble. So let this serve as a warning to all the nations and a warning to us as Israel that there's one thing we better all do. And that is, let's seek Yahweh. You ain't got enough guns to fight these people as this thing folds down. You ain't got enough ballots. You're not going to vote your way in. You're not going to stave off the oppression. You're not going to stave off the killing, the murders, or anything that's taking place. You're not going to stop any of it. So you might as well get on board with the Torah of Yahweh. Because it's so high, you ain't getting over it. It's so low, you ain't going under it. And it's so wide, you definitely ain't getting around it. So we all may as well fall in line and serve Yahweh. And if you do that, I promise you, by the power of Almighty Yah that's been invested in this little mouth of mine, if you do that, I promise you, you'll hear him say, well done, my tub and faithful servant. Truth be told, that should be all you want. That's all you want. And you know what? It's 8:15. That's all I got. I thank Yahweh for that little. That's all I got. Love and honor to you all in the precious name of Yahshua. Yah willing, we'll speak to you again from here at the house of Yisrael, the assembly of Yahweh, on the incoming of the Shabbat. Until then, Yah Baruch you all. Shalom, Yisrael.